People pulled up right next to me as I was vlogging, and I made eye contact with somebody as they were getting out of the car. So let's go before I embarrass myself even more. Hi, hello, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. So it's been a while since I've done a reading vlog. This isn't even actually a reading vlog. Spoiler alert. Actually, no, because you've seen the title. I haven't done a vlog since I think like mid 2020. If that, probably earlier. I have a Barnes & Noble coupon and I haven't bought myself a birthday present yet. My birthday it passed already. It expires today, today is Sunday, December 5th. It is 1:38. So I thought that I would do a come book shopping with me vlog. I'm planning on going to Barnes & Noble, and there is a half-price bookstore that is like 10 minutes, if that, away from the Barnes & Noble, so I'll be going for both. I'm kind of going with the intent of like looking for historical romances. If I see anything else that catches my attention, obviously I will be purchasing it. As you can see, I am all ready. So let's get going. I don't know why my hands are doing this, but let's go.
Slowly kisses passing by the river. I've been missing your strawberry kiss, 'cause nothing as sweet the taste still drive me crazy. My strawberry kisses, I could fly through the wind. Boy, gotta cover my legs. I'm falling head over toe. How you feel deep inside.
Hello, we're back in the car. Hopefully I got enough footage at Barnes & Noble, but probably not, because there was a lot of people, more than what I thought there was gonna be. So I didn't really get as much footage. I did buy some books, which I'll show you when I do my haul. I'm gonna go to Half Price Books right now because it's 5 minutes away. And then I didn't mention this because I didn't realize this. My freaking adapter for the aux cord broke. It's breaking and it sounds like super staticky. So I have to go to Target to get another one. Target by my house did not have one in stock. I checked online. The Target here, the two Targets that are here in this area, they do have them in stock. So after Half Price Books, I'm going to go to Target. So might get some books there, but probably not, because Target never really has any books. Not my Target, at least. I don't know where these people on Book Talk and on the internet are getting these awesome books. Like, my Target really just has American Dirt. That's what my Target has. Yes, hopefully I can find it. And yes, let's go to Half Price Books now. I'm actually very excited for the two books that I did buy at Barnes & Noble. One of them I started reading. You'll have seen I started reading, and it seems really interesting so far, which is great because it's a fantasy, and I am really in a weird fantasy slump right now. It's just not calling my attention. So this one, it's kind of like a mixture between horror and fantasy. It seems pretty good so far. But either way, let's go to Half Price Books because I haven't been in like a few months. So hopefully this is going to be a pretty successful romance one. They have a really good selection of older books, more so than my Second and Charles. My Second and Charles is still pretty pricey for the selection, and they're really not, it's not that good. A lot of the times they're actually still the same price. Half price books at least takes off a few dollars. I don't know what that's about. People pulled up right next to me as I was vlogging, and I made eye contact with somebody as they were getting out of the car. So let's go before I embarrass myself even more. So I came here with the intention of getting romance books. I have 4 books already, and they're all horror. I don't know what happened. I have to be honest, I was not expecting to see this book here. And I got a cart because it seemed like the smartest thing to do, because I haven't even looked at the romance section, and I have 5 books. These are all new books, so I don't think I will get any new in here, but I always like to look here. But nothing really is. So far, Joanna Ship is an author that I'm really starting to enjoy, so I'm definitely getting these 2 by her. Check Goodreads on the rating for this.
Slowly kisses passing by the river. I've been missing your strawberry kiss, 'cause nothing as sweet that taste still drive me crazy. My strawberry kisses, I could fly through the wind.
take this one. It's kind of expensive, but it's hardcover. It's 14 bucks, so we will see. I'm done shopping at Half Price Books. I went there with the intention, like I mentioned, of buying romance. I bought a shit ton of fucking horror. I don't know what happened. Romance just kind of is not, I don't know what's going on, but there was a lot of horror books that I thought looked so cool and a lot of classic ones. But I'm gonna go stop at Target because I need to get the freaking adapter before tomorrow, and then I have to go drop off something at my aunt's house. Probably gonna spend a little bit of time there, but then when I get home I will do my haul. Hopefully I got a pretty good amount of footage here. If not, I'm so sorry that this is going to be a very small, not so great video. We'll see. But I'm pretty happy with my books today. So I'm gonna go to Target really quickly and then I'm gonna go home. Lies. I'm gonna go to Target and then I'm gonna go to my aunt's house and then I'm gonna go home, but it's probably gonna take me a long while because me and my aunt like to chit chat. So hopefully this is a pretty successful video, but I will see you when I get home then and tell you guys exactly what I bought. So it is now the next day, Monday. I got home late from my aunt's house like I thought I would. I also went to the library today, and you might be wondering, like, Jess, you just bought books and you went to the library. Yes, because I had some books due and I thought, why not look? So for this haul I thought, why not also include the books that I hauled from the library, as well as the books that I was gifted for my birthday, and then also some holiday romance books that I bought early November, because other than that I really haven't bought that many books. I'm going to start with the books I got at Half Price Books. I went yesterday with the intention of doing a historical romance book haul, but that's just not what happened. I got Silver Scream, which is edited by David J. Chow. This is just a horror anthology. You'll see that I actually got a pretty good amount of like more older horror books, like the little tiny mass market paperbacks essentially. There are stories written by Clive Barker, Robert Bloch, Ramsey Campbell, and there's also, I believe, a story written by Toby Hooper, which is the director of Poltergeist and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I haven't seen the old Texas Chainsaw Massacre, nor have I seen Poltergeist. Does it make sense for me to be reading this? No, but you know, whatever. Next up, we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is the Penguin Popular Classics edition. Just getting a bunch of classic horrors. I thought this one was really cute, compact, tiny. I think it'll look really nice when I reorganize my shelves and I just do like a, I guess, a mass market paperback section, but it's like, it's gonna look cute with the horror mass markets I have. So yes, I think I read this like during school, but when I was really young, and if anything, I might have read like the children's version. So next up, we have Halloween Land by Alice Antonio. This originally I thought was like another horror anthology because like in the back it says includes the bonus novella The Baby. That, however, is not the case. This is set in a town called Orangefield, and in this town, I guess Halloween, it's never like a normal Halloween. And this year it's going to be no different. It's now the home of Halloween Land, a bizarre carnival run by the mysterious Mr. Dickens. It's set with a carnival, and probably should have looked for this during Halloween. Oops. Next up, we have Death is Relative by Edward Phillips, old horror novel. This, I believe, was written in 1980s. Doesn't say. Actually, this is written in 1984, as you can tell by the yellowing of the page. So this is following an old man named Frank, and he is taking care of his very elderly mother. It's not because he's like a doting son, which you think he would be. It's because he is trying to inherit his mother's fortune when she passes away. Is like determined to get all of the money, because he's even like managed to convince his mother to write his sister out of the will. But that all is for nothing when he discovers that half of his mother's fortune is going to go to an old folks home. I don't know how this is going to be super horror-y. Little line in the front says, "Waiting to inherit old mom's millions might drive an heir to drink," or something much more criminal. It seems like mysterious, like more thriller, maybe. I don't know, maybe not so horror-y. I like the cover. And it was in the horror section, so you could think it would be horror. These next two are the only two romance books that I got from Half Price Books yesterday. It is The Lady Hellion and The Harlot Countess by Joanna Shupe. I believe these are the second and the third books in the series. Don't have the first one, but I believe Hoopla has the first one as either an ebook or as an audiobook, so I can pick up the audiobook or the ebook whenever I want to get to this. Joanna Shupe is actually becoming one of my new favorite authors, so I have high hopes for this series. The last two books I got at Half Price Books are more horror, because like I said, I just got a lot of horror. Is the Mammoth Book of Best New Horror, which this is a pretty old, so it's just a horror anthology written by a bunch of horror authors, I guess older horror authors. It says it is edited by Stephen Jones, so I'm wondering if it's Stephen Graham Jones. Is it Stephen Graham Jones? It doesn't say. Oh, I think maybe Stephen Graham Jones, but probably not. And this was published in 1997. Really, this just looks like a very old classic like horror anthology, and I thought it would be really cool to add to my collections. Okay, last book from Half Price Books is The Penguin Book of Horror Stories, which is edited by J.A. Cudden. Another horror anthology, and I think this one is has a bunch of like horror stories by like classic horror authors. Like there's a story by Edgar Allan Poe, Robert Louis Stevenson, some other authors that I don't recognize, Robert Graves, and a few other ones. So another really great horror anthology that is just gonna look really cool on a horror shelf, which I'm going to definitely have to have once I rearrange my shelves. Barnes & Noble from yesterday. Only got two books, like I said. First one is, again, also a horror, and I was talking about it briefly in one of the car clips that I did. It is A God in the Shed by J.F. Dubois. And it actually says now in development for television. This was in the horror section, I think, or in the fantasy section. I don't remember, because this, when I looked it up, it's like a mixture of horror and fantasy, also urban fantasy. The title called my attention, and then when I pulled it out, the cover was also there. This is set in a small town called St. Ferdinand, and it's a very like tiny farmland, like very out in the kind of middle of nowhere. And it seems like your regular small town, but when you like look at the cemetery, it's much larger than what you think it would, and it's pretty full also. And that is because for the past 20 years there has been a serial killer who has just been killing people left and right. Then this inspector named Stephen Crowley actually discovers who the killer is. As they start investigating, just more stuff comes into play, and it seems like something far more sinister is happening. Far more sinister than just a serial killer. It seems like there's like some actual evil plaguing this town. It's already something that I'm super invested in. Like I'm pulled in, so I'm really hoping that this gets me out of my fantasy funk that I've just been in, because I do miss fantasy. Next book that I got at Barnes & Noble, And They Lived Happily Ever After. I think I actually saw this in, was it the book talk? No, it wasn't in the book talk section. It was in the bunch of like, how do they have it? Some Like It Hot or something like that. That little table. This is about a romance author named Gaia Anders, and she has the secret where every night she dreams about being written into her best-selling novels. She's lived a pretty lonely childhood. She grew up in foster care. Her dreams is like the place where she's able to escape. We then meet workaholic businessman Jacob Scott, and he has actually known Gaia because that's his brother's best friend, and he has a crush on her. That's cute. That's also one thing that really pulled me in because of that, but also this cover is so cute. But then he ends up sharing her dreams, which is something he never would have expected. And in their dream life, they're living like their fantasy. The dream life, you know, because they're living his, I guess he's also living his fantasy of being with her
and it's starting to affect him in the waking, while he's awake. And romance, I guess, is just going to ensue, question mark, hopefully. I mean, I would think so. It's romance, so I am assuming happily ever after is going to happen. Since it's December, this is a time where I really love to read like historical romances, especially holiday historical romance anthologies. That's a tongue twister to say. So last month I went to Barnes & Noble and I think Target also, with the intention of preparing myself to get books that I would want to read during this time as just like little palette cleansers, or just when I need something happy, because it's been a rough few months for myself. I have Mistletoe Christmas, which is an anthology with books written by Eloisa James, Kirsty Caldwell, Jenna McGregor, and Erica Ridley. A Season for Love by Lisa Kleypas. It's got 2 stories written by Lisa Kleypas. Next up, we have Kissing Under the Mistletoe anthology with stories written by Susan Enoch, Amelia Gray, and Anna Bennett. Yuletide's Kiss, which again, an anthology with stories written by Madeline Hunter, Sabrina Jeffries, and Mary Jo Putney. Literally all of these are just if I need a palette cleanser or I just need some good old historical romance slut. Historical romance smut. Yep. Anyway, these next 2 books are books that were gifted to me by one of my best friends here on BookTube, Jocelyn from Jocelyn Reads. Is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca. A whirlpool of darkness churns at the heart of a macabre ballet between 2 lonely young women in an internet chat room in the early 2000s. A darkness that threatens to forever transform them once they finally succumb to their most horrific desires. This caught my attention on Instagram, so thank you, Jocelyn. And then the next book she got me is Merfolk by Jeremy Bates, and this is a anthology set in the ocean, filled with like stories about merfolk. I don't know why, but for some reason when I put this on my wish list, I thought that it was like one singular story, or I guess maybe I forgot because I read the synopsis. So I don't know why I thought it was. The last few books that I'm going to quickly mention are books that I got at the library today. First up, we have Summer Suns by Lee Mandela. This is a horror book about best friends, Andrew and Eddie. They're bonded more like brothers until one day Eddie leaves Andrew behind to start his graduate program at Vanderbilt. 6 months later, only days before Andrew was to join him in Nashville, Eddie dies of suicide. He leaves Andrew a horrible inheritance, which is a roommate he doesn't know, friends he never asked for, and a gruesome phantom that hungers for him. So this, I guess, is just Andrew trying to discover the truth about Eddie's death and discovering secrets left behind by the person that he's trusted the most. I've had my eye on it. I kind of want to see if there's an audiobook, but if not, I have the physical book, so well, I don't have it. I rented it out. Next is The Book of Air and Shadows by Michael Gruber. Kind of reminded me of The Shadow of the Wind, like the spine. Can you even see? Whatever. It just kind of gave me like Shadow of the Wind vibes, even though I haven't read Shadow of the Wind, but just how it was described in the synopsis. This is set in New York City, where a fire destroys a very rare bookstore and it reveals clues to a treasure worth killing for. A disgraced scholar is found tortured to death, and those pursuing the most valuable literary find in history are about to cross from the harmless mundane into an inescapable nightmare. It just sounds really good, you know? Like, kind of gives me Shadow of the Wind vibes. Sort of, and the fact that there's a mystery revolving books. You know? Next that I rented is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazil. I've heard very, very great things. I saw that my library had it available. I thought, you know what, Jessica, just rent it out. Try it. You know, because I actually do really want to read this. The last 2 books that I got from the library are Carmilla by Joseph Sheridan LeFanu. This is actually the very first book written about vampires. It's what actually influenced Bram Stoker into writing Dracula. I saw the other, like the newly published cover at Barnes & Noble yesterday, but you see how tiny this is, and it was almost $30. I mean, but like the cover, like the book is really beautiful, But if I don't like that, a book this tiny for $30, it was hardcover, but like that's a lot of commitment. So I thought, girl, you need to read it before. So I saw that they had it available at my library. So I'm going to read this, and if I like it, I will buy it. If I don't like it, sorry girl, but I cannot justify buying a $30 book for something this tiny. Even I have my limits. The last book that I got from the library is Battle Royal by Lucy Parker, and this is actually about two bakers. They're actually judging this baking show, very reminiscent to the Great British Bake Off. Dominic is a very like serious baker who takes his job very seriously, and Sylvie is actually in the contest before she became a judge, and she's the super happy-go-lucky girl. I did not like her, okay? It was because she's too bubbly and all that stuff. So it's got that really great, he's serious, she's bubbly, but it's set with baking, which is going to be very interesting considering the fact that you kind of consider like cakes and baking and stuff like that to be super cute and have that kind of thing. Hopefully you guys like this video. Don't think I'm going to be uploading anything for the rest of the year, considering that I barely even uploaded this year. I'm hoping that I will be uploading and be more consistent next year. 2021, especially these last few months, have just not been the best for me. So I have plans for next year. I'm getting my list together for books that are being published in 2022. So hopefully I'll be able to film a books I'm excited for video. Hopefully you guys have a great holiday season if you do celebrate the holidays. Be safe and have a great new year. Bye.